Game over, man. Game over.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
So serious.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the InSession Film Podcast.
Welcome to episode 671 for January 20th, 2026, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Brennan Cassidy.
Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody, as we turn into the new year. Yes, I am aware of the date that I just said aloud there, but for us, it is the new year. We
Still
have
feels like
transitioned.
2025 to me.
I know. Last week on the show, episode 670 was, of course, our 2025 InSession Film Awards. We hope everyone had a great time listening to our award show this year.
Yeah,
Dave
I'm
Giannini once again joining us.
I'm just happy I'm just happy in totality it was under 7 hours, I think, between both parts.
Yeah. It was funny
yeah.
going through the timestamps as I was getting ready to release that episode and comparing it to last year, because early on, as we were getting through the individual awards and movie discovery, I could see the disparity of us inching closer or inching further and further away from last year. I'm like, oh no. And I don't even remember what last year's final timestamp was or the final runtime, but halfway through the show, I'm like, man, we went over by like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but then we got
butchered this.
to, I think it was international film or director, and we spent so much more time on that last year than this year. So it just kept fluctuating where we would get ahead, then we'd get back, and then we'd
It's
get
always
ahead, and then we'd
it's
get
always
back.
peaks and valleys. It's always peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
And
So-
of course, we had an off mic exchange with our good friend Ryan McQuaid over at Awards Watch. And he, of course, accused me of being the talker on that show. And I still have to go back and fact check that episode to see if that's true.
I think he was just giving you a hard time. It was
Well, he might be right, because I normally go into those episodes with more notes prepared to force myself to be a bit more contained. And I didn't do that this year. I went in off the cuff for the first time in a long time. And usually when that happens, I don't know when to stop. So it's possible that he might be right in that regard.
I mean, I think it was all three of us, but I do have a solution. What I did take note of, what I realized, and I remember this being the case last year as well. I think when we're going through our nominees, we just need to list the 5 and then talk about the winner, where we have this impulse to talk about and justify the other 4 nominees. And that adds an extra 10 minutes. We could just list the 5. We don't have to justify or defend the other 4.
Dude, we used to do that. You know whose fault that is? That's Dave's fault.
Dave is chief among us as far as that is concerned. I tried to limit that this year because I noticed that being a trend last year, although I was certainly guilty of it at times for sure. There's no doubt about it. But that was something I tried to be a little conscious of, but I do think if we collectively agreed, and we did not discuss it beforehand, so it's certainly not Dave's fault or yours or anyone's.
Well, yeah, and I have to give Dave a little bit of a pat in the back there, because he doesn't really partake on the podcasting side of InSession Film all that often, so it is his opportunity to explain himself more.
Be cathartic and celebrate, and it is a celebration. That's what it is. So I get it.
But when one person does that, then it kind of creates this momentum that you and I sort of have to follow suit, and then we're just going. All of a sudden, 45 minutes goes by, and we were only talking about best cinematography for.
So I do think that would help limit the final runtime a little bit if we cut that down slightly.
We need rules.
I know. But it's still I think it was a little longer, but not that much longer than what Next Best Picture did with their final predictions episode that they just released this last week, which was about 6.5 hours, I think it was. So look, people like the long podcast. It's that time of year for it. At least we split ours into 2 parts. So we have that going for us.
Yeah, and for those listening, you can't say we don't have thoughts. We're thinkers.
We have thoughts.
We're thinkers. We have things to say.
Yeah, even if we put those rules into place, I don't know if we could stop ourselves just because we want to talk about these things that we love. we're
Yeah.
passionate and we want to talk about the things that we're passionate
we
about.
we like things, and we're going to talk about other things that we're at the very least looking forward to, and we hope we like in 2026. How's
Absolutely.
that for a segue?
That's a good segue for sure. I do hope people go and check out the award show, though. If you haven't, it was a great time. But we have turned the page. It is now 2026 as far as InSession Film is concerned. So on this week's show, as Brennan was alluding to, we are going to be talking about our top 5 most anticipated movies of the year. We'll, of course, we'll list a bunch of films that we're very much eager for, but we'll mostly talk about our top 5 there. I also have a channel update that I want to get to.
Oh,
Maybe we
Stingray.
can talk a little Oscars as well. We'll see how the show goes. But since we have turned the page, I also want to note our first 2026 review is out there. It is available. Megan Kearns joined me to talk about Nia DaCosta's new film, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And spoiler alert for those that did not listen to the award show, 28 Years Later, Danny Boyle's film, was my number 2 movie of the year. It was Brendan's, again, spoiler alert, number 1 movie of 2025.
Yeah, so clearly we thought it was okay.
I think it's safe to say we were, at the very least, curious. If we did this list last week, maybe The Bone Temple would have cracked the top 5 for me. It certainly was one of my most anticipated. But we have seen it. Our review is out there. Brennan wasn't able to join us. He's quite busy. They're also getting a ton of snow right now currently in the north.
Yeah, you said... How did you say it on that episode? You said whatever shenanigans I was getting into.
Yeah, whatever shenanigans Brennan was up to.
It makes me sound like I have some illegal activity that I'm not telling you all about.
Maybe he was part of the RIP. Who knows?
I
have seen that as well. Those are my first 2 2026 films. I have seen The RIP. I have seen The Bone Temple. We do have a review.
Say, with regard to The RIP, even though I haven't seen the movie, I do appreciate that both Ben Affleck and especially Matt Damon have been using their press opportunities to basically talk crap about Netflix.
I know.
I have mad respect for them.
I know.
Doing that.
And even though the film is living on Netflix, I don't even know what its streaming numbers are. I didn't even bother to look them up at this moment. But I've enjoyed them on the press circuit. They've been saying some very interesting things.
Yeah,
but
it looks like a fun movie. I think Joe Carnahan's a pretty underrated director.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We don't currently have a review for it right now. I don't know if we'll have time to, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good little movie from Joe Carnahan for sure. At times, it's quite good. I don't think it, gets there in the end. I don't think it reaches its maximus potential, but it's good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's more good than it isn't, I would argue.
Okay, that's good.
And as I noted, we have a review of The Bone Temple that is available right now. You can go and check that out. Okay, with that said, let's get into this week's show. Let's start off with a little Stingray movie music. And again, for those that are new, this is something that I brought up last fall. It is a channel that you have on your Samsung television for those that have Samsung televisions. If you don't have a Samsung, buy one. Just get an extra one. Just for this one channel, because it is great. If you're a lover of movie music, they have a channel on there called Stingray Movie Music. And that's all they do all day long. They play great scores and songs from various movies. And I certainly have an update, especially because we've been busy with 2025 homework. So I haven't had an opportunity to delve into this in about a month's time. So I certainly have some updates here. And I don't know where to start. I'm so excited. Okay, so
I can't wait for this.
I will start here. I brought up this movie a few months ago because, or not a few months ago, maybe a month ago. But when we first started talking about this, and again, to reiterate, because it's a television channel, while they play the score track, it is overlaid with clips from the movie. It's essentially a montage like you see at the Oscars. It's exactly how it works. It is a montage. The score plays underneath. It's really fun. And a question that was brought up was around movies that we think are bad. Because again, when you watch the Oscars and you get caught up in the hype of those montages, regardless of what movies they're showing us, it's cinema. And so we just get so excited because we're celebrating the art form that we love. So the question was, does it become a trick? Does it does the montage of the clips overplayed, sometimes, still great scored tracks, even from bad movies.
Oh, sure.
Can
Yeah.
trick
Many
you
times
into
that
thinking that it's a good movie. And one of the examples I brought up was Divergent, because they played a score track from Divergent.
a franchise that
watched
never
the
even
clips.
finished.
And I realized with that experiment that no, it does not change how I feel about that movie. It's still bad. Like, I watched the clips, that film, nope, not good, even if the music is good. However, there's an update to Divergent, because the last time we talked about it, it was the score. And then this most recent update, it's almost like they listened to that episode and decided, we know a trick. We know a way to grab you. So instead of playing the score track, they play one of the original songs from Divergent, Holes in the Sky, which is a really good song. I really liked it a lot. I remember adding it to my Spotify playlist at the time. I've listened to it quite a few times. I'm trying to remember. I do remember it featured Haim is on the track.
Looks like M83. Is that who it is?
M83, yes, that's it. Yeah.
Featuring Haim? Yeah. Okay.
That's it. And it's really good. It's a really good song. And admittedly, that did trick me a little bit. And I think it's just because I loved that song so much that you watch the clips and you're like, oh man, like I feel more compelled than I did before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's a lot of the same clips. And look, I don't love that movie, but that did veer closer to pulling off that sleight of hand. So you grabbed me with a good song. You almost got me.
You went from thumbs down
me.
to like halfway to thumbs middle.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just M83 and Haim. You love them. It's a good song. It's a good song. I wish it came from a better movie, but it's a good song. So that was fun.
Don't you love when great musical talent is wasted on movies that don't deserve them?
I know. It's incredible. And I think I can use that as a transition, because what I'm about to bring up next, a lot of people would agree with that sentiment, even though I don't, and I know you don't as well. But the next film I want to bring up here is Eternals. Fun little Eternals track that we got. And I believe this was the first time I had seen Eternals. But the one reason I want to bring it up here is because over the last couple of months, I've talked about these weird coincidences that have taken place.
Yeah.
Where I experience something away from Stingray, I come back and they show me something that relates to that experience I just had. Like the device is listening. I watched the brand new special from Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know if you saw this or not.
I have not seen it.
He dropped it on Hulu in late December, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I went to watch it. Quite good. That night, guess what I saw on Stingray?
I'm telling you, man, it's the algorithm. The algorithm's
It's crazy.
listening.
It's absolutely insane, especially because he brings up his experience in Eternals in the special. Like, it's a huge talking point.
I'm telling you.
It was
This is not an
crazy.
accident.
It was absolutely wild. Yeah, just one of those strange, weird coincidences that that's what I love about Stingray. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was really fun. As far as a few interesting new tracks that I had never seen before in Stingray. And again, I love how they pull from these small gems that you may or may not have heard of or remember. So over the last few weeks, I saw tracks from A Most Violent Year, which I thought was really great. Yes. That gem from 2014, I loved it. I thought that was really great. And an underrated score. Actually, one of the best scores of the year, I think.
I know we're talking about scores, so this might be a bit of a tangent here, but that might be my favorite Jessica Chastain performance.
Oh, she's so good. Really, really good.
Actually, no, I don't think that is my favorite Jessica Chastain performance.
I don't blame you. Don't blame you at all.
I mean, Zero Dark 30 is a hard one to compete with, but I don't know. There's something about a Most Violent Year that sticks with you.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Loved seeing that. This next film I'm going to bring up fits under the bill of coincidence and also small hidden indie films.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see the Kristen Stewart, was it Variety? The interview she had with Jesse Eisenberg. Did you see that at all?
No.
I think it was Variety. Yeah.
Was it one of those actors on actors specials?
Yes, but I think in this case it was more of a director on director conversation. They had a few of these. Like Guillermo del Toro talked with Bradley Cooper, and there were a few others, but one of them was Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart, and they were, of course, talking about the chronology of water. Primarily, that's what they were talking about. And of course, they've been good friends for a long time. They've been in 3 or 4 different movies over their careers, and they talk about their friendship quite a bit in the conversation. It was quite compelling. And honestly, I feel like a lot of what Kristen Stewart talked about reinforced so much of what we had to say in our conversation. It was really great. Definitely urge people to go and check it out on YouTube. But again, the coincidence of it all, not only is this film a small movie in its year, but the coincidence of just watching that interview with Jesse Eisenberg, I saw on Stingray The Double.
Do you remember that movie?
The Double.
Yeah, the
dual
Iota
performance.
Film? Yeah.
From Jesse Eisenberg from 2015 maybe.
Didn't it come out around the same? It came around the same time as the movie Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, maybe that was 2014. Maybe they had a 2014 hour. I don't know.
A double feature.
Yeah. Wild. And I was like, man, this is a small movie from the year that I don't know if a lot of people would even remember. And I'm just like, I love that they're showing, like, again, it's a channel for cinephiles, 100%. And I deeply love it.
It's totally, like we say it every time, JD. Every time you have a Stingray update, this platform stole your Spotify playlist.
It did.
It absolutely did.
Because I know I had tracks from The Double at the time, 100%. I know it wholeheartedly. I did. And A Most Violent Year. I think the main theme from A Most Violent Year is incredible. Genuinely very, very good. One of the best of the year. Manchester by the Sea. I saw a track from that, which I thought was really great. They had Ex Machina on there as well, which was really fun. So again, I just love how they're highlighting these small movies intermixed with, I've seen a couple of tracks from The Way of Water, which is really fun. Bumblebee. I hadn't seen this before, but Into the Spider-Verse, they had one of the tracks from that movie on there, which was really great.
Those are great scores.
Every now and then, I love this as well, because this is one of my comfort movies, Men in Black. I love that they keep going back to that score as well. It's just a really good channel.
Yeah, Danny Elfman, I think, did the score for that one. Men in Black's a great movie. That's a great movie.
It is. I know. I'm half tempted to watch again. I thought about it the other night. Like, I might just have to give it
I swear, like, I'm in that kind of zone right now after all the work we've done for our award show. I'm kind of just having fun rewatching stuff I know and love. Maris, my wife, has been really itching to watch a lot of the James Bond films for the first time. So we're just going through a bunch of them right now. And it's a lot of fun to just kind of decompress from the work of film and just live in that type of environment for a little bit. I'm surprised. Have you seen a James Bond film show up on Stingray at all yet?
Yes.
Okay.
No Time to Die. I've seen No Time to Die on there.
Okay. Was it the Billie Eilish song, or just maybe a track from
it was
Hans Zimmer's score?
It was from Zimmer's score, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have seen No Time to Die on there, at the very least. Maybe Casino Royale as well. I'm trying to recall, but I've at least seen No Time to Die. I do remember that.
Now that we're talking about it, you're going to see more Bond themes on that channel. Soon.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's very strange how that works.
You're going to hear John Barry's iconic main theme from On Her Majesty's Secret Service next. I just know it.
Oh, I didn't write this down, but I do remember texting you. I wish that I could go through here in real time to try to find them. But I've described it before how sometimes you hear tracks that aren't from the soundtrack and it's not overlaid with clips from the movie, but it's a different musician that's giving a different rendition of those score tracks.
Right.
And it's just visuals of them playing that song on whatever instrument that they play. So like, for example, I've heard Interstellar on this huge organ. Like massive organ. I can't, like, it's the size of a giant wall. It's huge.
That must have been heavenly.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, and I believe I sent this to you. It's that same organ. I see the same organ. It pops up again. And I'm expecting it to be Interstellar because that's what I've seen before. I've seen that a couple of times. But no, it's not Interstellar. What I hear is How to Train Your Dragon. That's what I hear.
On a giant organ like that? Oh my
goodness. Giant organ. I'm pretty sure I sent this to you. I wish that I had prepped this because I would have played it here on the show.
It's ironic that we're talking about music because the reason why I probably didn't watch that, even if you did send it to me, was because I've been so busy with my own music escapades for the past 2 weeks that I just couldn't sit back and listen to it and just forgot about it. So you probably did. And admittedly, I just never got around to it.
Yeah, and I think the funny thing about it too is, and maybe I'm glad that you haven't gone on to listen to it because I certainly embarrassed myself. I had tears like streaming down my face. I was so excited.
You're adorable.
I know. I couldn't help it. I was in it. I was totally in it because I love that score, and to hear it on that huge organ, it was fantastic. It was really, really good. And then I saw it was there was another version of that. It was, I think, 2 cellos in like some studio space, and they started playing Once.
Okay.
Falling Slowly is what they started to play. And again, like similarly had this visceral reaction to it. And I think I sent you a small clip of that as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like those were like back to back. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm scrolling. Okay, yes. It was December 29th. I'm finding it here in our text exchange. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually sent you 3 videos.
Of course you did. That's probably why I didn't watch it.
I don't even know what the last one is. I think the last one, so the third one is Falling Slowly. The second one is How to Train Your Dragon. And the first one, I don't even know. I'd have to listen to it myself. I don't even remember. But the text I sent you was, God damn, I love this channel. This is what I meant by how sometimes it's not clips, but more like a music video. Because again, it's just a guy in a field. And honestly, actually, I think it might be Tennessee is the name of the track from Pearl Harbor, I think is what that is.
Gotcha.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's not Michael Bay's best hour, but it is a really great score from Zimmer. Zimmer nailed it.
The thing with Pearl Harbor is that movie fails on the page, but there, as a sensory experience, there's some decent things in it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about the film. The screenplay is a disaster. I think we can all acknowledge that for sure. But the filmmaking is there, and the score is very much there. Zimmer delivers. It's very good.
I definitely don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about this track is it's just a guy playing a piece of music that is actually really beautiful. If you didn't have the context of where it came from, you'd just be like, this is a great piece of music. Where is this from? Oh, it's from Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Just one of those weird situations, I guess. But Anyway, yeah, that was my December 29th. I just sent Brennan a bunch of videos of me crying watching this channel.
That's one way to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I love Stingray. Maybe
We
I'll
are not
provide
sponsored
another
by
update.
Stingray, but we should.
We should be. We should.
You should
be.
write to them. You should write to them
know.
and just like tag them in one of
need
these
to.
episodes and see if they notice.
I need to. Yeah, I just need to clip this whole section and then send it to them. Be like, look, we talk about you a lot. Please sponsor us. Anyway, Stingray is great. That's my latest update. And maybe on next week's show, I can download these videos and then show them to everybody so I can embarrass myself in front of everyone. But at least they'll know what I'm talking about.
There you go. There you go.
Anyway, that is Stingray. Before we get to the top 5, and by the time this episode comes out, Oscar nominations are going to be the next day. So depending on when you listen to this, Oscar nominations are either tomorrow, this morning, or they've already happened.
Yeah.
Just depends on when you get to this episode. However, we are recording this a couple of days beforehand, and we don't have to spend a lot of time here, especially because Shadon already has an Oscar nomination prediction episode already out. If people want to go and check that out.
And she's
from
more
earlier this
likely
week.
going to be more right than we would be.
Absolutely. So go and check that out. It's a really great episode as they delve into all of the categories. And she also has a separate shorts YouTube video where they just talk about the shorts. So you can go and check all of that out as well on YouTube at InSession Film. So with that said, I just want to briefly get your overall thoughts on what you may be anticipating, if anything crazy happening this year, or if you have any passionate thoughts about what may or may not happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been seeing a lot of people publish on their respective sites or posting on Twitter what their predictions are, and I feel like there is a lot of there are a lot of commonalities between many of these high-end categories. I feel like there is a bit of a consensus as to which films are going to populate these categories more so than others. I feel like a lot of people seem to agree, like, let's say, for instance, Best Actor, for instance. I feel like the 5 really seem like it's going to be, and I have it on my phone here, so for those watching on YouTube, if it looks like I'm looking off screen, that's why. But I feel like that category in particular is going to be Timothée Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, and Wagner Moura. I feel like I can't imagine it really going any other way. And with Best Actress, obviously, we know we're going to see the likes of Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, and Renata Reinsve. I feel like they're pretty much locked in at this point. I think it's really fun to think about what could be the biggest surprise, or what is, as you, I think, tweeted a few days ago, what is your quote unquote no guts, no glory Oscar?
Yeah, that
prediction?
was,
That is more fun for me to think about, especially in an awards race like this, where there seems to be a lot of consensus. I'm certainly not betting money on this, but I would really love to see this happen, where Best Director is mostly filled with individuals who directed international films.
It's possible. Yeah.
I mean,
cool.
I mean, the Academy tends to use Best Director as maybe one of the biggest surprises of the night, where we tend to see someone nominated that we wouldn't necessarily expect, or maybe someone that directed an international film. I remember when Bennett Miller directed Foxcatcher and he was nominated for Best Director, and nobody saw that coming. I think a lot of people seem to think Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value is getting in for Best Director. I feel like that is the international representation. My no guts, no glory prediction was going to be Kleber Mendoza Filho for The Secret Agent, but I don't know if that's really all that much of a no guts, no glory pick anymore, because I feel like that's actually a possibility at this point now. But how awesome would it be if we see Joachim Trier, Filho, and then Jafar Panahi, all 3 nominated for Best Director? Now, who would that kick out? It would most likely have to kick out Chloe Zhao for Hamnet.
Yeah.
But if I have any no guts, no glory hope for the Academy Awards, that would be so cool to see that category in particular represent the greatness that was international cinema in 2025.
I think it would be great to see something like that as well. The other thing that comes to mind for me. And while it seems unlikely, at the same time, we're talking about an academy that historically has not embraced horror really at all.
Right.
Would it shock you if Ryan Coogler was the one to miss? Just because of the genre bias of it all. I could see Chloe Zhao being in still. PTA obviously is a lock. And honestly, I'm really quite close to saying Chloe Zhao is the number 2 lock just because there's a lot of industry love for Hamnet right now. In fact, that is, I would say, quite easily the biggest contender to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I can't believe I was going to say that.
One battle after
another.
They have similar long titles that begin with a one moniker of some sort, and they both have Leonardo DiCaprio. So I kind of
maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I'm confusing my Leo performances. One battle after another.
Of one.
Yeah, clearly the front runner. But if anything upsets in Best Picture, it's going to be Hamnet. I don't think there's much debate about that. So I think Chloe Zhao would be your number 2. And then I think from there it becomes a bit debatable. Josh Safdie, I think, is safe. That would be number 3 there. And then I think if any of the notable directors that we think are going to make it, because Coogler is seemingly one of those locks as well, just because of the horror bias, I would not be surprised if Sinners disappoints come Oscar morning, including Coogler being the one that misses for a Joachim Trier, for a Panahi. That's where I see that shaking out. If there is an upset, honestly, I think that's where it's going to go.
I think that logic makes a lot of sense. I think the only pushback I would bring to that is I'm not sure if I can't speak for the Academy because I'm not a member of the Academy and I don't know anyone in the Academy, and honestly, I don't really want to. But I feel like a movie like Sinners isn't really being viewed in the same lens as how horror is usually viewed. Like I feel like Sinners,
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. In fact, I was having this conversation with Megan at the end of our review of the Bone Temple, because I had a lot of disappointment, or I will have a lot of disappointment depending on when you listen to this, that 28 years later is going to miss out on Oscars in every category. And it felt like there was a built-in excuse this year because Sinners is probably going to end up with 6, 7, 8 nominations come Oscar morning.
I think it's going to be more than that. I think it's going to be more. I think it's going to be in the double digits.
And it might be. It very well might be. Amy Madigan is seemingly going to be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. At this point, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to doubt that. So they have embraced horror. At least we think they are embracing horror this year. So why not go beyond that? Why not include 28 Years Later, which is clearly one of the best shot films of the year? Even if the film itself is debatable, the cinematography is not. It is not debatable.
And I'm not giving the Academy a pass by saying this, or even like giving validation to whatever excuse they might have. If anything, I'm just trying to make sense out of this. But it makes sense for a movie like 28 Years Later to miss out, while movies like Sinners and Weapons don't. Primarily because the 28 Years, Days, whatever franchise carries the reputation of that's a horror franchise. Whereas a movie like Sinners, I feel like goes beyond just the horror classification. There's way more to it than just that. And even a movie like Weapons, normally a movie like Weapons would miss any major category, but there was so much marketing push for Amy Madigan that I just didn't think that they could ignore it. I feel like that might be the biggest difference there because, and maybe this is just me, but when I think of a movie like Sinners, the horror aspect of that is the least that I think about. Like that least comes to mind with that movie. To me, that is a historical blues movie. Like that is what that movie is. And I think maybe more people are responding more to that element of it than they are, the vampire-y stuff, which kind of feels third or fourth in line at this point now. And perhaps that might be the reason why a movie like Sinners is so easily digestible from the Academy's perspective, whereas 28 years later is not. Like that's maybe the only justification I can bring to it.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think, if anything, people think of it as a Ryan Coogler movie, a Michael B. Jordan movie, or to your point, it's a music movie, and you almost forget that it's a vampire horror movie at the same time.
Right.
And I could understand that because it's been well marketed in that way, but it ultimately is a horror movie. Amy Madigan, to me, I really don't understand it at all. And I'm not downplaying the performance. What I mean by that is it is a movie that isn't doing anything distinctive that other horror movies have done over the last few years that also should have been in the conversation for awards, whether it be performances, direction, writing, whatever the case may be. I don't think it's anything all that distinctive. In fact, I don't think it was, at least for me, like the movie itself, I wouldn't say was great. I don't think it was one of the best horror films of last year. I don't even know if I would have it in my top 5 for horror films in 2025. And Amy Madigan is very good, although I don't think that's her best performance of 2025. That's another conversation for another time, perhaps.
We can rebuild that conversation later.
While it's fun, and it's certainly that bombastic type of performance that the Academy loves to relish for whatever reason, but is it the best horror performance, especially actress performance, we've seen over the last decade? Absolutely not. And I love Madigan in the film. I think she's really great, but there's nothing about her performance or nothing about the film that screams, oh my God, this is like Sinners. We have to have this in here. So why is that film being embraced? It's very interesting to me.
It's
being cherry picked.
It's the loudness of that performance. It's also the fact that we haven't really seen Amy Madigan in a really popular movie like this in quite some time. And we always associate her with movies like Uncle Buck or Field of Dreams. So it's a huge departure, which makes it so marketable. But to your point, shouldn't we have seen something like this 7 or 8 years ago with Toni Collette in Hereditary? Honestly, I think we're at a point now where 7 or 8 years is a long time for something to shift in the mindset of voting members, right? I could easily see a movie like Hereditary coming out now and Toni Collette getting nominated for Best Actress. I could see that more likely now. And
maybe it's unfair to compare 2026 to, when did that come out? 2018?
I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018,
something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's a very different Academy. Maybe it's unfair because you get that performance. You get Lupita Nyong'o and Us, which easily should have been nominated that year.
I think that's another one that would have been nominated nowadays.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if this should have been nominated for Oscars, but if we're talking about actress performances in horror films, I do prefer something like Mia Goth and Pearl over Madigan in Weapons.
Oh, yeah. That never would have gotten it, but yeah.
But I think it's a better performance.
Oh, I agree. It never would have gotten nominated, but I do think it's a better performance for sure.
Yeah. My point in that is to say there's been plenty of opportunity to do this. Why now? Why now? And if you are going to do this now, why only stop at the 2? Why is 28 years later being shut out when it very objectively is one of the best shot films of the year?
Because it's a zombie movie.
And maybe you're right about the franchise of it all. I don't know. I mean, because even something like Fire and Ash is going to be shut out. Apparently, it's just not being well received for whatever reason. So, like, I don't know. Maybe the franchise thing just is not what does it anymore. I don't know. But it just feels like there was a built-in excuse. They are embracing horror this year, and so. The fact that 28 years later is going to get shut out is saddening to me. Anyway, I don't even remember how we got down this rabbit hole.
We got here talking about
Ryan
best
Coogler.
director and Ryan
Ryan
Coogler
Coogler.
maybe being the one to miss it. I don't think
Yes.
he's going to miss. And to your point, some of these other individuals that you feel like are locks, such as Chloe Zhao and maybe even Josh Safdie. I mean, if I were a betting man, yeah, I would keep them in my 5 if I were predicting that. I would just find it so fascinating if Best Director is the opportunity to showcase international cinema, and you see someone like a Jafar Panahi and even a Kleber Mendoza Filio get in there.
And unfortunately, I think if either of them get in, it's going to be in lieu of Joachim Trier. I think
maybe.
Safdie, Coogler, PTA, and Chloe Zhao are pretty much locks.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if any of those 4 miss, I think it's Coogler or Safdie. And maybe it is Safdie instead of Coogler, but I think it's one of those two. I think Zhao and Anderson are 100% in easily.
Do you think there's an opportunity, maybe opportunity is the wrong word, but do you think there's a likelihood, I guess, that no international filmmaker gets in there and they replace someone with like, I don't know, like the Academy loves Guillermo del Toro. Like he could easily get in there.
Yeah, I think he could easily get in there because I think Frankenstein is going to get a decent amount of love as well. So I could see Del Toro getting in. But as we've seen over the last few years, they are embracing international film more and more and more. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to believe that an international filmmaker doesn't get in there. I do think one of Trier or Panahi gets in. I think it's going to be one of those two.
I feel like for the past
feeling.
I feel like for the past 5 years, hasn't at least one international filmmaker made it into Best Director as a nominee?
I think so.
I mean, like last year you had Jacques Audiard for Emilie Perez, and even though this wasn't a foreign language film, Coralie Farja was nominated as well, but she directed The Substance, which was not a foreign language film, but she is not American. And I feel like I'm trying to fact check myself on this one by going back through the past nominations to see if that was the case. Yeah, like 2024, which were the 2023 films. Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall was also nominated. So you're right. This current Academy is really interested in honoring international directors. Okay, going back yet another year. Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness was apparently nominated for Best Director. So, okay. Every year there's at least one.
There's at least one. And I think we could go from here back to 2016, I would say like over those last 10, 11 years, in most of them, I'm sure there are exceptions, but I would say in most of them, there's an international filmmaker.
Going back yet another year. Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Drive My Car.
And then you would have had Roma in there the year before that.
Lee Isaac Chung for Minari. I mean, that was the COVID year. I don't know if that would have been the case in any other year, but
Bong Joon-ho, did he make it into director?
He won Best Director.
He won Best Director. Yeah.
I thought
that was amazing.
The same year that Lee Isaac Chung was nominated for Minari, that was when Chloe Zhao won Best Director for Nomadland. Did she win? Yeah, she did win. Also that year was Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round.
Oh yeah, which was exciting. Yeah, that was very fun. So there's tons of precedent for it. So if it's not Trier, I think it's going to be Panahi, just because of the narrative around him. The fact that he's going back to Iran after all this is done to be arrested certainly gives more weight to that narrative and the film itself. So I could see Trier missing in lieu of Panahi, especially because sentimental value, it's hard to gauge how much momentum it has because it's probably going to be nominated for Best Director. We assume screenplay. SAG did not like the film at all. So where are the performances going to fall come Oscar morning? We assume that Skarsgård is at the very least in. Reinsveig probably is in. But with SAG not embracing sentimental value, it just leaves some room for ambiguity as far as how much love that film is going to get. And if it's less than we think, then Trier might miss and Panahi gets in. I could very much see that happening.
Yeah, me too.
But I do think like my money is on the 4 that we mentioned earlier, Zhao, Anderson, Kugler, Safdie. Those are most likely locks.
I
And
agree.
then you'll get your international, whichever one ends up claiming that.
Yeah.
We'll see. And speaking of Reinsev, you mentioned actress. So a lot of people have Emma Stone in as the 4th, and I don't hate it, even though she's not my personal 5.
Yeah.
I don't hate it because I do think that's her best performance in one of those movies. And maybe this is no glory. I don't know. I haven't seen her in the 5 as much, but I think Chase Infinity is going to be that 5th.
I think so.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's what I'm
I
going with.
I really think that I think this is going to be a one battle after another, just not sweep necessarily, but it's going to cover the gamut in nearly every category in some way, or at least the major categories.
Yeah, especially with acting. Because if she doesn't get it, like that would be the only one, because obviously Leo is getting in.
Yeah.
Taylor is maybe going
to win. And then for potentially 2 from this movie being in supporting actor with Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn.
Yeah. And I have both of them in as far as my prediction.
I think they're both going to make it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's real interesting. And I agree with you about best actor. I think that's pretty much
set in stone. Yeah.
As far as acting goes, I don't like. I think we all know how it's going to play out. My only question is for supporting actor. I could see Paul Mescal maybe missing that.
Yeah.
But I think Penn, Elordi, Del Toro, and Skarsgård are like those 4 are pretty much those are locks.
If Paul Mescal was going to miss, I'm trying to think of who might take his place. I know a lot of people were assuming this was going to be the year that Adam Sandler finally got an Oscar nomination, but I feel like that performance has kind of fallen by the wayside. And the movie Jay Kelly has kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, Jay Kelly, there just hasn't been a lot of love for it. And maybe that's where Paul Mescal might actually be safe when it's all said and done, because like Jay Kelly certainly isn't in the conversation. Where I do see him missing could be in lieu of a Miles Catton because of the Sinner's love. And Sinners is going to get a lot of love. So maybe he sneaks in there.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening.
Me too.
I think Mescal is more safe than he isn't, but if he misses, it's probably for that.
Yeah, I think so.
Or Lindo. Yeah, right? Lindo is the other Sinners prospect there.
Yeah, and I weirdly think I would. I don't know. That's difficult. I feel like you could argue for Miles Catton because in a way he's kind of the lead of the movie, even though they don't want to admit that. But so he's got more of that screen time to argue for. But Lindo is someone that they completely missed out on when it came to the Five Bloods, and he's kind of he's been around this business for so long. He's kind of that legacy nomination. Then, if they were to give it to him, even if it's also for a great performance, so it's also earned at the same time. So I could see it going either way if either one of them were going to fill in that 5th slot.
And that's a great point. I hadn't even really considered that as much, but yeah, they could simply give it to Lindo just because of his career, honoring the legacy of his career, and the fact that he missed for the Five Blood. So it's kind of a makeup, like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your Departed.
Yeah.
although this is, I shouldn't have said that because that's not a great comp at all. Because I think Lindo is actually very, very good. I don't love The Departed. I think that's very much
that is a fun movie.
Did it.
That is a great rewatchable movie, but man, it does not have the deepness of Scorsese's best.
Yeah, I don't think it's his best work by a long shot. Lindo in Sinners, though, genuinely very good. I think he's worthy of the nomination on its own terms, let alone the narrative aspect of it.
I agree. Sure. I agree. Yeah, it wouldn't be just a let's throw you a bone here, right? It wouldn't be that kind of thing.
Yeah. Jumping to international real quick, because we talked about Neon perhaps sweeping this category. Sentimental Value, The Secret Agent, It Was Just an Accident. Those are in the last 2. And like, there's a couple of films here to debate, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's no other choice, which I don't have in at the moment. I want to see it get in, but I don't think it is. The Voice of Hin Rajab, I think, is in. There's been a lot of love for that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's in. And then the last one I have is Sarat, which I think is also Neon. So I think those are, so Neon's still going to get 4. I think they're going to miss out on 5 for Hin Rajab, which I hate that for no other choice. And if it was me, like if I was in charge of this category, I would swap out Sarat with no other choice personally. But I think keeping the Voice of Hin Rajab is a good call. I love that.
That'd be really cool if it was a Neon sweep as far as 5 Neon films here. But I don't see that happening, primarily because I'm with you. I do think there has been sort of this newfound love for the Voice of Hin Rajab. I think it's because it's a movie that's finally starting to sprinkle out. Access to that movie is becoming more readily seen and available than it was before. So it's starting to take notice, and people are very much affected by it. But I do think after the Parasite win some years ago, there is a lot of newfound curiosity from the Academy when it comes to South Korean films. So I could easily see No Other Choice getting in there for just that reason alone. So if it were to crack the 5, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if I'm predicting that, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. And I have one more category because we could go on and on here, but we do need to get to the top 5.
I know.
I would be remiss, though, if we did not talk about score.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I had to, of course. Got to bring up score. We talked about Stingray. We had a whole segment about score earlier. So
yeah,
I have to bring it up here. Again, I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but I do have Desner in my predictions. That might be a hope diction, I'm willing to admit, but I really want it. So I'm not being swayed. Max Richter is in, Greenwood is in, Goranson is in, Desplat, or maybe not Desplat. It's probably Marty Supreme, right? It's Daniel Lapitin. And then I guess for me, I'm leaving out Desplat because I want Desner in.
Well, I don't know. I think this is one of those cases where my prediction would be, Richter, Greenwood, and Goranson. That's official. They're good. They're the 3 that are going to be in there.
Yeah.
And I weirdly think Daniel Lapitin is going to get in for Marty Supreme just because it's simply a different kind of score, and I think they're going to recognize that. As far as the 5th, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hans Zimmer for F1. Honestly, I think they might want to try and do something big for it.
All right. I was trying to avoid this.
I'm sorry.
We've arrived.
I'm sorry.
Arrived.
I don't know if this is what you were trying to trip over, but
no, look, because again, I don't want to fall victim to artist sports. I don't want to do it. And when you bring up F1, it's the closest I'll get this year to becoming a victim of it. I do like the film. Let me reiterate. I think it's fun. I really like it as summer spectacle. I do not think that film is anything more than that. I think it's fine.
I agree.
It's a fine, fun movie. Will I ever watch it again? Maybe. I'm certainly not eager to seek it out, but I think it's fine. It's a fun movie, but I do think there are lots of problems to it simultaneously. I don't think it's great by any stretch of the imagination. And F1 is going to get maybe in for score. It's going to be in for sound. That's fine. Sound makes a lot of sense.
That's earned.
That makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot of talk about it being in for editing, and maybe even Best Picture. People are talking about this film as one of the 10 for Best Picture, including Variety, who had a tweet go out a couple of days ago, which sparked some discourse around this as well.
Yeah.
F1 in Best Picture. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Isn't it already potentially a lock for cinematography as well?
And maybe cinematography. Yeah, I don't know if it's a lock, but I could certainly...
It's in the conversation for sure.
Yeah. That film could walk away with, 5 or 6 Oscar nominations. Why? Sound, I get. And look, if it gets in for score, Zimmer's score is pulsating. It is fun.
It's good,
It's
but
great.
it's not better than these others that are above it.
I don't think so either. I would not put it in a 5. Maybe in a 10, but not in a 5.
I'm looking at this list here. I don't mean to change the subject a little bit because I know we're venting about F1 for the moment, but Simon Franglin's score for Avatar: Fire and Ash is 10 times that score, if you ask me. And sadly,
I
he's
agree.
just not in the club enough to warrant this type of nomination from the Academy, I guess. And I think that's really unfortunate. I think it's kind of hilarious how pretty much every Oscar predictor out there had this particular score in their predicted 5 before the movie even came out, just given who this composer is. I think everyone thought, oh gosh, 9 Inch Nails for Tron Ares, of course they're going to be nominated for Best Original Score. And then the movie sucked, and then that just kind of took any life out of their awards campaign, I guess. And it's unfortunate how the quality of a movie can do that.
For sure. Which again, I do not get the love for F1. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think if we're talking about spectacle from 2025, there are much better options across the board. Editing, again, I can understand sound. It should be in for sound, for sure. Score, I don't think it's in the 5, but I can relinquish. It's Hans Zimmer. It's really fun. I do really like it a lot, even if it's not in a 5 for me. I would take Surratt over it. I would take Marty Supreme, of course, if that's on the outside looking in. I would take Hedda over that score as well. It's maybe 9 or 10 for me in a ranking. I haven't actually done that exercise, but
I haven't either.
I think there's at least 6 or 7 better scores from 2025. But I can relinquish sound and score, but the rest of it, Best Picture, are we being serious here? I don't get it. Don't get that one at all.
I know we're talking about score specifically, but with regard to F1, I'm just doing a quick gander at Joseph Kosinski's filmography as a director. Now, keep in mind, I've not seen Spiderhead, which I hear is not very good. I've only seen the other films that he has made, which include F1, Top Gun Maverick, Only the Brave, Oblivion, and Tron Legacy. Those 5. Of those 5, F1's my least favorite. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but that is my least favorite of the 5. I would actually take Oblivion.
It's very much near the bottom, like maybe near the bottom for me as well. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I don't know if it's bottom, but it's certainly in that conversation.
I assume if I finally see Spiderhead, I might put that below it.
That is the worst. That is the worst. I guess I was talking about of those that you listed there.
Yeah. I know some people might put Oblivion below it. Like that's a very flawed movie, but I still think it's kind of an interesting movie.
I would take that over F1 for sure.
Okay.
And he's a director I do like. And again, this is where it's such a double-edged sword. I'm trying not to fall victim to what I scream on the show so much about.
It's hard.
Because I actually like him as a director. I like, aside from Spiderhead, I like all of those movies. I really do. I just don't think they warrant a ton of year-end awards conversation. So there are some things from Top Gun Maverick, absolutely. I think that film warranted, what F1 is getting. That's what Maverick should have been in the conversation for.
I agree. I agree with that completely. Absolutely.
All of this F1 conversation, it blows my mind. If it gets in, it's just it's a great reminder that you can't take any of this shit seriously.
I apologize for opening that can of worms.
I was trying to avoid it, but we arrived.
That's my bad.
It is what it is.
I got the soapbox out and placed it in front of GD and said, step on it.
Yeah. Step on the gas, if you will. I wanted to bring up score to talk about Desner. That was the whole point of that. I just wanted to say Bryce Desner is in the 5. Yes. Let's go Train Dreams.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in. I'd love to see that happen.
I would love to see it happen as well. Anyway, again, we'll find out soon. We'll have more to say on next week's show once we know what the nominations are. Yep. I will also plug this as well since we're here. Chasing the Gold will have an immediate response episode. As we released this episode, so we are recording this on January 20th, as I noted earlier. This Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel, Shadon and I are going to talk about all of this live. We're going to live stream.
I love it.
And I'm probably going to be drunk, and it's going to be a ton of fun. And I promise to keep
and that's
the
a
F1
rarity for
ranting
JD.
to- yeah, I don't drink all that often, but I have to when it comes to the Oscars because we nominate films like F1 for Best Picture, and the only way to cope with that is with alcohol. So be sure to join us. It's going to be fun. All right, Brennan, let's talk about Roofman, starring Channing Tatum,
Kirsten Dunst.
Lakeith Stanfield, Juno Temple, Peter Dinklage in the film as well. And it is directed by Derek Sanfrance. You know, we didn't really talk about Roofman all that much at the InSession Film Awards. I did consider it for best overlooked movie. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And like I also considered Kirsten Dunst for best supporting actress. I think she's phenomenal in the
I
movie.
did too. She is terrific in this movie.
Yeah, very, very good. And nothing against Channing Tatum either. He's quite compelling as the lead in this film. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, you know, it's a movie that's weirdly been lingering for me. Since we talked about it, it was one I liked. I wouldn't say I loved it, but there are aspects of this movie that I still think about in the months since we've seen it.
I think it's quite good. It's very funny, heartwarming in many ways, and then of course ends quite poignantly if you know the real story and how that goes.
Sure.
But it's handled with a lot of great diligence from Derek Sanfrance, and I genuinely quite love the film a lot. And we have 5 Blu-rays to give away.
All right.
5 physical copies.
Support
We got Blu-rays.
physical media.
Yes, fantastic. And if you want to get a hold of one of these Blu-rays, it's very easy. Follow us on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, at InSession Film. We will put out a post for you to interact with. All you have to do is interact with the post, and you will have an opportunity to win one of these Blu-rays. It's that simple. So just follow us. Stay tuned throughout the week. I will put out a post, interact with the post, and that's it. And then your name goes into a hat, and you have an opportunity to win one of these Blu-rays. And again, make sure you're following us, because if you win, I will DM you.
Yeah.
And unless you give me your phone number and email, that's the only way I can get a hold of you.
This is important. You can't forget
Very
this part.
important. So make sure that you're following us after you interact with the post. And then if you win, I will get your information and we will send out one of these Blu-rays for Roofman. It'll head your way. So be sure to follow us on social media. It's a very, very good film. So we hope that you enter into this contest because this is a Blu-ray you're going to want to have. You're going to want to own this at home. So thanks for listening. Thanks for participating. And we thank Roofman for their support. All right, Brennan, let's talk about swag and t-shirts and merch.
Let's talk about toys. InSession Film toys.
InSession Film toys.
InSession Film wardrobe, more importantly.
Yes. Our official merch is run through TeePublic, and they have a subdomain that they gave to us through Dashery. And so you can find our what I like about the Dashery part of this is that it basically allows us to have our own individual store. So it's because when you go to TeePublic, it's just all it's all TeePublic, and so it's easy to get lost.
There's a lot of good stuff on there, but it's hard to find exactly who you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. With Dashery, you go to InSessionFilm.dashery.com. It's your own store. It's your own store. It's all run through TeePublic on the back end, but on the front end, it is all your store. So you go to that link, which of course we'll have in the description of this episode, and you can see all of the designs there. You click on one of those designs, and then you can click on whatever merch you want, whether it's a t-shirt, a hat, a mug, a hoodie, whatever the case is. It is the winter season, so if you want to get a hoodie, you can certainly do that as well. And we have a bunch of different designs up there. We have our logos, of course, Chasing the Gold, Women in Session, the main logo, but we also have a bunch of different designs, and we have a brand new design for those that loved 28 years later, like
Oh,
we
heck
did. We have a brand new 28 years later Memento Mori t-shirt that I hope to get very soon to show off here on the show.
How
That is going to be the
appropriate
next
leading
one I
up to the
get.
Bone Temple, because you have a literal image of the Bone Temple being represented.
Exactly. So go and give that one or check that one out. We have a Sinners t-shirt. I want to get one of those as well. We got a Film Score Junkie t-shirt that I really love. I wear that one quite often, probably once a week, just because I love that shirt. But there's a lot of fun stuff on there. Stop Turning Art into Sports, which I've updated. I've updated those designs slightly. So if people want to go and check all that out, it's there. InSessionFilm.dashery.com. It's real easy. It's convenient. And I've marked down the prices. So if you go to that link specifically versus TeePublic, you will find cheaper prices through our Dashery link. So again, that's InSessionFilm.dashery.com. And support the show. It really helps us out. And every penny we make on these goes directly into funding this thing. So
Absolutely.
we really do appreciate it. And we thank you for your support. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and transition to the top 5. We are here to talk about our most anticipated films of the year. I am very, very excited for this. I don't know if you have any criteria for your list this year.
That's a good question. Because given the weekend that I had, I kind of had to slap this together pretty quickly. So I appreciate you sending a very comprehensive list my way for a starting point. As far as criteria, one of my biggest criteria that I usually bring up every time we do a most anticipated episode is I try to limit it to films that I know are definitely coming out this year. I decided not to do that this time. I decided to just go with the flow. These are movies that are potentially coming out in 2026. I'm going to include it. And I also decided to do this a little bit differently because I'm noticing I'm noticing a few patterns when it comes to movies that I'm looking forward to in 2026, or at least a few themes, if you will. So I decided to kind of categorize it. So I don't know if I would necessarily call this a true top 5 necessarily, but I decided to break it up into certain categories of we're seeing these types of movies come out. What's the one I'm most looking forward to of this particular type of movie or this particular thing? And I'll get more into those details as we go because I noticed quite a few of those reoccurring themes. I will also say if all of these movies do potentially come out in 2026, there's a lot to look forward to here. This is kind of creepily stacked. Like I'm kind of worried for our sanity for how often we're going to be going to the movies if this is the case.
No, I hear you. As far as my list is concerned, I guess I didn't treat this too differently than what I usually do, other than I veered a little bit toward how you created your list with my honorable mentions, which I'll get to at the end. I tiered them. There are 3 different tiers. With this is my tier 1. This is my most anticipated outside of my top 10. Then that second tier, I'm really looking forward to these. And then the third tier is like, okay, kind of just keeping these on the radar kind of thing.
Sure.
So that's kind of how I tiered my honorable mentions, which we'll get to. As far as my top 10, I try to keep that too. These are the films I'm most eager to see as the year unfolds. With the caveat, I do have one. I do have one film here that I left off purposely, and that is our beloved Terrence Malick.
Because we know that's not coming out for another 50 years.
Yeah, I don't know. So I read the blurb that Film Stage did last year, which was hilarious because they had it at number 1 last year. And they even mentioned in their blurb that it was the 5th year in a row that it was number 1. And I just died laughing because Brendan and I share similar feelings with the film stage in that regard. I
Yeah,
had this
yeah.
as my number one, like 2 years running, and then it just never came out. We didn't know what was going to happen. And I love that film stage this year. They had it at number 2. It's still high on the list. But I want to read the blurb that they wrote for Terrence Malick's The Way of the Wind. This is what they wrote, and it's ultimately why I left it off my list altogether this year. They said this, quote, "Candidly, we may never see Terrence Malick's Jesus opus. In typical Malickian fashion, the 2019 shot feature has reportedly over 3,000 hours of footage to sort through. Yes, let me say that again. It was shot in 2019, has over 3,000 hours of footage to
Challenge
sort through.
accepted.
And the edit has been dragging on for more than 6 years. Having spoken with post-production artists working on the film in Austin, I can report that they think it's not close to being done, despite how little of the full perspective they have on the project. I've also talked to other Malick insiders who claim they've seen full, nearly finished sequences that comprise large portions of the film, one even saying they saw a full final cut. That's something anyone would love to claim, and no one could ever verify, which makes all reports thus far questionable. All this disparate information really tells us that no one has a firm grip on the timeline of the picture or what might be Malick's master plan. But with performances from Mark Rylance as various Satans, Matthias Schoenaerts as a voiceover providing Peter, and Son of Saul / Marty Supreme co-star Giza Roig as Jesus, we're in for a treat if we ever get it. End quote. So a lot of words to say the film may never come out. We don't know. We don't know where Malick is at. He is seemingly roaming the earth like Jesus. Like, we don't know what's going on there.
I thought he was Jesus.
So, and it sounds awesome. It sounds so Malickian, and I want to see it so bad. I don't know what's taking forever. The film was shot in 2019. 2019.
That's
here we are.
that's a long time. That's 7 years, man.
So I have sadly left that off my list altogether this year. But spiritually, my number one, should it get a release? Miraculously, if we get a religious miracle in 2026 and it comes out, it's my number one.
Once we get confirmation that it's coming out, that'll be the day.
Okay, let's get into this. Number 5, Brendan, what do you have at number 5?
All right. So like I said, I sort of slapped this together pretty last minute, and I tried to categorize this based on things I was seeing. And like every year, we are getting a lot of IP in 2026. The majority of it seems to be somehow Disney related, right? Whether it be Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, right? I'd say like 90% of that. But there's one film that is a new interpretation of something IP related that I think has the potential to be the most interesting format, or the most interesting form of maybe trying to reinterpret some type of IP. So my number 5, this might surprise you, is the new Resident Evil from Zach Kreger.
Okay.
And for the longest time, after we saw movies like Barbarian and Weapons, which you and I weren't the biggest fans of Barbarian, we certainly like Weapons quite a bit, but it was not among our best of last year. But we certainly acknowledge that Zach Kreger has the skills for something action horror related, right? And I think if there's any opportunity to do something really neat with IP that could hopefully push Hollywood in a more interesting direction as far as how they tackle IP, this might be the potential for that. And that is ultimately why I put it on my list. I think he is a great fit for something like this. I don't really know much about what his approach to this classic video game franchise is going to be. All we know is that Austin Abrams is going to be in it. Paul Walter Hauser is going to be in it. And I think Zach Kreger has talked about how it's going to be a very unique interpretation that is very distant from not just the video games, but also the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, right? With Mila Jovovich, which
Yeah.
we assume was going to be the case. But I have it here because I am hoping to see Hollywood get back to a place where they can do IP and actually still make it exciting, like it was back in the 2000s. And maybe this can be an example of that positive momentum that I hope to see. So that's why I put it in my 5 here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I expected to hear Resident Evil. I am mixed on Zach Kreger. I mean, as we noted earlier, I like Weapons. I don't think Weapons is great. It is surprising that it's in awards conversation, but I do love that the Academy is embracing horror this year, however that looks. And while I didn't like Barbarian all that much, I am curious what this is going to look like, especially if it veers in a very different direction, and it sounds like it's going to from the previous iteration or film series.
Right.
So yeah, I am curious. I am curious as to what this was going to look like. And didn't they recently release like some promotional photo for this?
I think there was at least one photo. I saw something about it, but it wasn't all that revealing from what I remember. It was more so just proof that the movie is happening and it's being worked on.
Yeah. Yeah. So very, very interesting. Yeah. I did not expect that. That is a fun little surprise here to start this top 5.
Movie might suck, but I want to see Hollywood get back to a place where they treat IP like they treated the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy in the 2000s.
And that's a great
right?
point. And and that is the exciting thing about this is if you know they are taking another shot on this, and maybe we do get there. Maybe it does become
And I feel like out of all of the movies we get in 2026 that are some type of IP, this is the one that's most likely to feel like some type of swing. And I'm hoping for that.
Yeah. All right. My number 5, this is not going to be a surprise, but I have to go with Goat Spielberg. Disclosure Day is my number 5. And honestly, the big reason that I have it here at number 5, there's actually 2. One, Steven Spielberg is always fascinating to me. He's one of the best of all time. I don't think there's much debate on that. However, I'm particularly curious about this one because he is coming off one of his very best films a few years ago in The Fabelmans. I thought West Side Story was really, really good. We haven't seen him delve into the realm of sci-fi in a minute. The last time was in 2018 with Ready Player One. And before that, it was
Minority Report?
Yeah, it'd been a while. It'd been a while.
I guess Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Although that feels a little
That
like it
doesn't
feel
seem
like
fair.
traditional
Yeah,
sci-fi.
yeah. That's not traditional sci-fi.
Although weirdly, maybe it does tether to what we're about to get into here, though, right? Because this is a UFO film.
Yeah.
Famously, that's what Spielberg had noted a couple of years ago. And I think what's interesting about this, so the reason that I have this at number 5, aside from we're coming off the heels of The Fabelmans, and that is arguably one of his very best movies. This is an original idea from Steven Spielberg. It's a UFO movie. I don't know how closely related, it probably won't be, to something like Close Encounters. But that to me is an all-time movie. Close Encounters of the Third Kind would be in my top 20 of all time somewhere. I forget exactly where I have it ranked, but it's in my top 20.
That's your favorite Spielberg film, right?
That's my favorite Spielberg.
Yeah.
If this is as contemplative and risky and ambitious as that film is, this will end up in my top 10 at the end of the year. There's no doubt about it. He is working like since 2021 with West Side Story, The Fabelmans. He is clearly operating at his very best. Whatever his experience was with Ready Player One, he clearly pivoted, and these last 2 features we've gotten from him have been just masterclasses in incredible craftsmanship across the board. And while he's venturing into the realm of sci-fi once again, I just believe that he's still going to be channeling that same craftsmanship, that same filmmaking ethos, but doing it on a larger scale that just happens to be about a UFO and how humanity would respond to it. Like the trailer didn't do much for me, admittedly, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
it's an okay trailer, but it doesn't have to. The only thing that I needed was the text that turns around that says from Steven Spielberg.
I just need the announcement. I just need the announcement.
I just needed the announcement.
It's interesting because like we know that this is a UFO movie, but we wouldn't know that from the trailer, which is something I actually do kind of appreciate about the trailer. It's only known knowledge because we were told that. That's how it's been marketed and advertised. But like the trailer is being very cryptic about what this movie is actually about, which I do kind of appreciate. Which how hilarious would it be if Spielberg is pulling some type of like M. Night Shyamalan twist on us, and the movie is actually a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I don't know. That would be incredible if that was the case.
Like this is basically it's his split, right?
I don't think that's going to happen. But an original idea from Spielberg that is UFO related, coming off the heels of these last two films that have been impeccably crafted. I just feel like he's going to channel that same ethos from a craftsmanship standpoint, and then I'm hoping that the film goes back to those close encounter type nuances. And also, the one thing I did appreciate from the trailer is that it gave me War of the Worlds vibes. So if it was some sort of concoction of War of the Worlds and Close Encounters, then we're really in for a treat. And that would also make a lot of sense because this was written by David Koepp, who has written plenty of Spielberg films in the past, including War of the Worlds. They did.
Yeah, he adapted that. Yeah,
they did collaborate on that. David Koepp also wrote Black Bag last year. He wrote Presence. So he's had an up and down career. I mean, you talk about the ebbs and flows of a career. He is essentially that.
He is either the most efficient or sloppiest screenwriter when it comes to plot.
Seriously. But he's done pretty good work.
Sure.
With Spielberg, and you're kind of hoping that after feeling inspired working with Soderbergh, that maybe he'll have the same prowess with Spielberg as well.
A good director knows how to bring out the best in David Koepp, and Soderbergh and Spielberg are certainly among them.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, coming back, you have Janusz Kaminski, who's shot pretty much all of Spielberg's films since Schindler's List. And again, the cinematography in all these films have been incredible. John Williams coming back even at 90 plus years old.
This might be his last movie.
And it might be. That's another interesting thing, right? And then this cast. Josh O'Connor had the year last year. And he comes back in 2026 with at least this film. I don't know if he has more beyond Disclosure Day, but he's at least one of the leads here alongside Emily Blunt. Blunt and Colin Firth.
You don't cap off a great year like Josh O'Connor had and not work with someone like Spielberg as the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I love that he's going from Rian Johnson and Kelly Reichardt to Steven Spielberg. Just incredible. He's one of my favorites working right now, and I love that he's back this year with this film with Emily Blunt and Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, Wyatt Russell, and the film, and a ton of others. So a really, really great cast here. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Spielberg and Amblin have up their sleeve with this one.
I am too. This is not a worry, mind you, when I say this, but Spielberg has been very open about his feelings towards Close Encounters of the Third Kind and how he wouldn't have ended it that way, the way that movie ends. And I do hope that this movie is not his version of a course correction, where he tries to.
I hope not too. That's a good point.
Yeah, and honestly, like, maybe it is a bit of a worry. That's why it's in my 10, but it's not in my 5, so it is an honorable mention for me. It's kind of part of this category that I'll get to in my honorable mentions, where I call it my GOAT category because we see a lot of filmmakers that have kind of earned GOAT
Yeah.
status that are also making films this year, and Spielberg is one of them. So certainly fits that bill.
But,
Maybe that,
but if anyone can make that work, can make that contrast work, it's Spielberg.
sure he could.
This could be a purposeful counter argument, but done through that incredible Spielberg lens.
Yep.
And he could still make it work. It could still be cynical in other ways, have its own ambiguities in other ways, even if actions taken by certain characters are meant to be a counter argument to Close Encounters. And that would be fine. That would be fine. That would make for an interesting companion piece.
It could be the yin to Close Encounters yang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he could still make that work, and that would be
sure
fascinating. That would be a fascinating double feature if that is the case. If he's able to stick the landing in that regard.
I think he'll most likely stick the landing. He's too good at his job.
Too good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Disclosure Day is my number 5. What do you have at your number 4?
My number 4, I'm going to call my what if pick or my wild card pick. I feel like there are a lot of films coming out this year that kind of feel like that looks interesting. I have no idea about that. Will that work? And my number 4 that I'm going to classify as my wild card, it's a movie called Hope. It is from director Hong Jin-na, who is most known for directing the horror film The Wailing, which is a film.
Oh, yes.
Film that you and I really liked. A very well-directed movie. And all we really know about this movie, Hope, is that it stars Alicia Vikander and Michael Fassbender, real-life married couple. Taylor Russell's also in this as well. And apparently it's described as some type of action sci-fi thriller about a mysterious discovery made on the outskirts of a harbor town. The thing that sold me about this is the poster, which is like this horrific rendition of Akira Kurosawa's Ran in a way, in a more intimate way.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to make of this, but given the filmmaking prowess of Hong Jin-na for a movie like The Wailing, and that he's working with the likes of Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, with that type of setup as an action sci-fi
as
thriller.
Extraterrestrials, that's how they're labeled here.
That sounds pretty wild to me. This could backfire, but the sheer the sheer concept of this, and when I mean concept, I don't just mean what the movie's about. I mean the talent involved and what it takes to get this made. That is piquing my interest, and ultimately that is why it's in my 5. Because out of all of these potential wild cards, this is the one that's piquing my interest the most. I'm trying to look this up. The cinematographer here, Hung Kyung-fo. What else has he worked on? Cinematographer for Parasite. So it's going to be a good-looking movie. So okay, I'm in.
Yeah. No, this is high on my list as well. This is a very good honorable mention, and it's crazy that he hasn't directed a movie since The Wailing, and that was 10 years ago. I believe that was 2016.
That's a great point. That also feeds into another category that I'll get to later. But yeah, that's a great point too.
Yeah. So an incredible cast here. I am also very excited for this. I love a good science fiction thriller, and I think he's going to be able to very much deliver on that. And obviously much of this film is going to be in Korean. So I'm going to be curious how Vikander and Fassbender fit into this world. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'm very excited for this one as well. Yeah, that's a good honorable mention for me. All right. My number 4, I'm going with I Want Your Sex from filmmaker Greg Araki.
Okay.
So I am fascinated by Araki. I have not seen all of his movies, but Mysterious Skin is a film that just continues to linger. It's such a strange, weird movie that is daunting in many ways. I love it. It's one of my favorite films of 2004. I believe that film came out. And Whitebird in a Blizzard, I think, is a bit underrated from 2014.
Okay.
I'm really intrigued by him as a filmmaker just because he takes these bold risks and they're very artistic, certainly challenging, and his films aren't for everybody. Of the very few that I've seen. Admittedly, I haven't seen all of his movies, but of those I've seen, they're quite challenging and provocative, and I very much expect that to be the case. This is a movie about a man named Elliot, played by Cooper Hoffman, who lands a job for a renowned and provocative artist. Shocking that is the case. The character's name is Erica, played by Olivia Wilde, and his fantasies come true as Erica hires him to become her sexual muse. And it's got a really interesting cast because it not only stars Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman, but it also features the likes of Charlie XCX, who had a big year last year. Daveed Diggs is in the film. Johnny Knoxville has some small role here. Margaret Cho is in the film. Mason Gooding. So there's a really, really interesting cast here among a premise that, at least given what I've seen of Greg Araki, this feels like something tailor-made for him to devour. So I do think there's going to be something quite provocative and fantastical about what this film is going to be. And I'm just really curious because his films just, it's crazy that I haven't seen more, because everything that he does that I've seen, I've really responded to, deeply responded to. And this has me all kinds of intrigued. My alarm bells are very much going off when I look at this cast, this premise, and how weird and provocative I think this is going to be. Certainly going to be among the most divisive movies of the year. I have no doubt about that. And that's why I have this at my number 4. I'm very excited for it.
I'm looking at his filmography on IMDb as you're talking. He's been doing a lot of television work as of late. When's the last time he directed a feature film? Was it White Bird in a Blizzard? It was
White Bird in a Blizzard, 2014. So it falls under what we were just talking about there with The Wailing. It's been a long time since he's been in the film world. Yeah.
Then this is a perfect transition to my number 3 then, for a lot of those same reasons, because a category of mine that I alluded to when talking about Hope was the where the hell have you been category. Because I feel like we're seeing filmmakers who are all of a sudden now making a film after what feels like almost a decade, sometimes even more than a decade in the case of Rocky, right? Clearly they've been busy in some way, but another one of those individuals, and now my number 3 for most anticipated, is the new film from one Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah, it's been a while for him too, right? Yeah.
And if it wasn't just the fact that it was directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, this right here is enough to get me sold on this movie. Have you seen the plot synopsis as written on IMDb?
No, but I imagine it's crazy. I imagine it's wild.
This is the description for the movie, and I quote: "An edgy, hypnotic, and unhinged thriller based on an original story that promises lots of glitter, sex, and violence." End quote. That is the plot synopsis on IMDb.
That's all I needed to hear. Yeah.
And JD, make an editing note so you don't forget this, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. Like, that is enough of an explanation as to why we're looking forward to this one. So that's why it's my number 3. But yeah, a lot of filmmakers they're not coming out of retirement, but it almost feels like they are. And out of all of them, I feel like this is the one I'm probably most not even curious about. I'm really looking forward to this because Nicholas Winding Refn is someone I tend to champion quite often. The movie like The Neon Demon, which I felt like a lot of people kind of scoffed at, you and I were big defenders of. That's a really good movie.
That. And that was the last thing that he did? Was it really The Neon Demon?
Last film. But I know he's worked on quite a few television series in between that movie. Yeah. But yeah, I believe that was his last film, and I think that was 2016. Was it? So another 10 years.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm excited to see Nicholas Winding Refn back, though. Yeah.
And great cast, too. Great cast. Who's in this? It's Sophie Thatcher, who I think is a great fit for Nicholas Winding Refn. Also, Diego Calva and Charles Melton are in this, too. So, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, really, really good cast here. And I'm with you on the poster. It is such a Nicholas Winding Refn teaser poster.
Sure.
That's it. That's all I needed. And this is did Neon pick this up?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so. I think that's what I'm reading here is that Neon had picked this up. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just love that he's back for the first time in a decade, and Neon is like, "Oh yeah, that's all we needed to hear. You're
That's all
back.
we need to hear.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's it.
Give us as much glitter, sex, and violence as you want.
That's it. We're in. Yeah, we're totally in. So yeah, that is very, very exciting. Yeah, that's a good honorable mention for me as well. All right, my number 3. I'm going to the world of Ryosuke Hamaguchi. All of a sudden,
Oh yeah,
is his new film. And after the likes of Drive My Car, which I believe we noted earlier, where he was nominated for Best Director, he had a film in 2024 called Evil Does Not Exist. And you want to talk about films that went under the radar. So last week, Brendan, for the award show, you and I had a bit of a debate as far as which was the better year, 24 or 25. And I argued for 24, but understand why people don't consider it to be a great year, because the films that resonate the most with me that year are movies like Evil Does Not Exist, films that nobody championed except a few of us. Fair. After Drive My Car, the fact that film got nothing, and I think it's every bit as good. It is incredible, that movie, but it is methodical, it's patient, it takes its time, it's long, and it's one that you actively have to wrestle with, right? There are some incredible ambiguities in that film, and you have to be an active participant with it, so I understand why it's not for everybody, but it was easily, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best films of 2024. And again, I just think it's a year full of those kinds of movies. So coming off the heels of those two, he has a new movie called All of a Sudden, which is a film set in Paris. So he is working with French collaborators here. And it is a movie about two women who bond and become friends. One of them is a Japanese theater director. The other one is the French head of a nursing home.
Yeah.
And that's about all that I know about the movie. I'm sure there are a few other details out there, but there's not a ton. There's not a ton of details, but I don't really need to know a lot of details. I know that it stars Virginie Efira and Taiyo Akamoto. Forgive me, I'm butchering both of those names. But that's it. That's all I know. But all I need to know is that it's Ryosuke Hamaguchi. He's back. He is simply one of the best working right now. And now he's challenging himself by going to France and delivering a film that I would assume is at the very least mostly French spoken or half French spoken. And I'm very curious to see how that goes. And maybe it doesn't work for him. Maybe because he's out of his sandbox, it doesn't make for one of his most seamless films. I don't know, but I do love that he's challenging himself in that regard. It sounds fascinating, and I'm curious to see what he has up his sleeve next, because I love everything he's doing right now.
Yeah, I love a lot of what he's doing too. And we didn't plan it this way, but 2 times now you made picks that just beautifully transition to my next pick. Let me just first say I'm with you as far as Hamaguchi is concerned. And I like the idea that he's veering outside of his comfort zone a little bit, or I should say he's veering away from his native tongue a little bit, which I think could be really interesting. And as a Japanese filmmaker who is potentially looking at the French language for his backdrop, he's not the first Japanese filmmaker to do that, or at least as of late. Another filmmaker who did that some time ago was our boy Hirokazu Koreeda, right? When he made the movie The Truth. And he has 2 movies coming out in 2026. So of course I have to have Hirokazu Koreeda on my list, right? The film I have as my number 2 is a movie called Look Back, which is a film that is based off of a 2021 one-shot manga from Tatsuki Fujimoto, which I have not read, but I have seen the animated film adaptation from 2024, which was only about an hour long. And I don't know if you had a chance to see this coming of age drama, JD, but it's kind of a lovely film. And even at the time that I saw it, my first thought was, this feels perfect for Hirokazu Koreeda.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was announced that he's doing a film live action adaptation of it. So that alone just had me sold. And I love the idea that he's working with children. Once again, the last time he did that, is at least made them the focal point, was a movie like Monster, which was quite a lovely film as well. So I'm really looking forward to see what he brings to this. And anytime Koreeda has a film coming out any year, I think it's something we're always looking forward to.
Yep. Hirokazu Koreeda is my number one. I'll just go ahead and put it out there.
Is it this film or is it just his name? Just because he has 2 films coming out this year.
Yeah, I simply have here the question, are we going to get 2 Koreeda films this year? I have both of them here, Look Back and Sheep in the Box. And also what's fascinating about Sheep in the Box is that it's already bought up by Neon.
Of course it is. Of course
already
it is.
bought up by Neon. I think that film is going to premiere at Cannes. That's what I read. That is going to be the plan for that movie.
Okay.
So it's very likely that we are going to get Sheep in the Box and Look Back in 2026. We are going to get not 1, but 2 Hirokazu Koreeda films this year. Are you kidding me? There was no other choice for my number 1.
He's
wasn't
pulling
even in debate.
He's pulling a
Wasn't even in
Soderbergh.
debate.
He's pulling a Soderbergh. I love it.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And what's fascinating about Sheep in the Box is that it's starring Hayasa Harakuya. Forgive me, I'm completely butchering that. But she starred in Our Little Sister, so she has some familiarity there with Koreeda. And it also stars an actor here by the name of Daigo. Again, forgive me, I don't know if that's how you say that. But he is a huge comedian in Japan. And this is going to be his first leading role in a feature film. And if that doesn't scream Koreeda, I don't know what does. Like we're bringing in someone that doesn't have much acting, like there's nothing on his resume. He has no experience, but he is a huge star, a huge comedian over there. So let's use him. We'll put him in a Koreeda film, and it's this movie that's set in the near future. It's this couple that takes in a state-of-the-art humanoid into their home as their son. That is the synopsis to this film. Again,
channeling his inner Kogonada a little bit with this one.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that idea of found family in a way. But it also sounds like where the Kogonada-isms of it are even more apt is that I was reading something where, like, there was a quote from Koreeda where he was talking about how the project began with the idea of bringing the dead back to life using technology. So it does sound like it's going to be a dead child situation that, you know, where they bring in this humanoid as kind of like a coping mechanism kind of thing.
Then this should have come out in 2025. It fits the theme.
Very much fits the theme for sure. So I think it's going to be very Kogonada, which is hilarious because After Yang is very Koreeda inspired.
That's true. That's true.
We're just going in circles here.
Everyone's influenced by each other. I love it.
So that's what I was reading as far as Sheep in the Box goes, which is why I totally understand Neon picking this up, because it feels like this has some commercial sensibilities behind it for sure. Yeah. At least as far as a Koreeda film goes. This film isn't going to make gobs of money or anything. But I see the potential there as to why Neon would pick this up. It feels like something that they would want to champion and back. Whether it has any awards, possibilities or not. I mean, we'll see next year, or later on this year, I should say.
Right.
Either way, I love that Neon is backing it already. The film has not wrapped. I don't even think it's wrapped filming yet, let alone post-production, but it is slated for Cannes, so it should be done by then.
I can imagine that. I mean, like this is not a knock on Correa. This is actually something I love about him. But his movies don't look like they take very long to shoot. There's a simplicity to his movies, but he takes advantage of that.
He does. Yeah. And again, like I love that premise because with technology, the way it's advancing, and later on in that interview, he did talk about how this technology is becoming very real in Asia, in Japan, and in Korea, and in China.
Wow.
These humanoid technology, like it's kind of here, and it's starting to become a bit of a thing. So
Interesting.
him tapping into that to either as an emotional mechanism thing or a found family thing, this time with a robot, I think it brings a new angle to that for him. So I'm very, very excited for Sheep in the Box. And to everything you said about Look Back, yeah, it's about two students who bond over their love of manga. I mean, there's nothing more Coretta than that. I mean,
I know. I'm with you. In actuality, my number 2 is really just reserved for Hirokazu Coretta. And I didn't even get a chance to say this, but the category that I was lumping him with was one of my guys, right? There are a lot of filmmakers who are making movies that are coming out in 2026 where that person is just one of my guys or one of my gals, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get to some of those other ones in honorable mentions, but he is one of my guys. And I reserved this pick really for him. I singled out Look Back as maybe the one I'm more looking forward to, just given the coming of age angle, because that's just more of a me thing, as you know. But in actuality, it's really reserved for both of his movies.
Yeah, and that's ultimately why I have him in, like I knew Look Back was coming out, and that probably was going to have him in my in the conversation here somewhere in my top 5.
Yeah.
And then in research, I come across Sheep in the Box, which I hadn't heard of until about a week ago. And then I was like, he's going to have 2 movies this year? Are you kidding me? Yeah, not even a question. What's the other 4? Like, yeah. I just can't. Yeah. 2 Coretta films in a year. 2026 is going to be the absolute best. I can't wait. I cannot wait. All right. So that's my number 1.
Oh, it's your number 1.
We're to your number 1. I still have yet to reveal my number 2. Unless you want me to do my number 2 real fast. Because I can do this quickly.
I'll go and do my number 1 because I don't think my number 1 is your number 2. And I think it's going to be a bit of a out of the box pick to have at number 1. So maybe we'll just talk about it now. My number 1, it's actually pretty interesting. It's a nice little tie-in once again. You were talking about Coretta. We were talking about Coretta potentially having 2 films in 2026. My number 1 comes from a filmmaker who I think also has 2 films coming out in 2026 I'm only singling
Soderbergh.
out
Again.
Oh, if it's Soderbergh, he probably has like 5. No, the filmmaker I'm talking about here is Travis Knight.
Yeah, I have both of these films on my list as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Masters of the Universe looks fun, right? It looks like it could be a fun time. But when he is working with Leica, magic happens.
That's the big one. This is the big one. Yes.
Wildwood's my number 1. And it's mostly due to maybe it's just coming off the heels of the year in animation in 2025 and how I miss when animation was such a competitor when it came to best of the year qualifiers, right? And normally when Leica has some type of film come out, something just feels magical about it. They are the studio now that works in the realm of animation that feels like they're making magic. Disney used to be that, but I feel like Leica is that now. Maybe it's just simply because their movies take so long to make that they don't come out very often. So when they do, it kind of feels like an event. And the last time that Travis Knight actually directed a movie for Leica, obviously he works as their president, if I'm not mistaken, or at least I know he did. I don't know if he still does, but the last time he directed a movie for Leica, it was Kubo and the Two Strings, which I still think is one of the greatest animated films of the past 20 years.
So good. Yeah.
And the thing that really sold me about Wildwood, there isn't really much that has been revealed about this movie yet outside of this one promo behind the scenes making of this house that they showed us. I don't know if you got a chance to see this yet.
I have not seen it yet. No.
It juxtaposes some of the actual animation and the things that they're doing behind the scenes, and they mash it with this actual house in Portland, Oregon that they used as inspiration, which kind of makes it seem like they're going for a more contemporary urban feel with their typical use of fantastical storytelling, which I am weirdly really excited about. And the cast alone also has me really piqued. It includes the likes of Jacob Tremblay, Carey Mulligan, Mahershala Ali, Aquafina, Angela Bassett, Jake Johnson, Charlie Day, Tom Waits. It's a pretty darn good cast. And like I said, the last time Travis Knight worked with this particular studio, it made one of the best animated films of the past few years. So I think this one has the potential to be something special. And I had to look at it this way. Out of all these movies coming out this year, which is the one that when I'm driving to the theater, walking in through those theater doors, am I going to get the most excited getting ready to watch? And I think it's this movie. Yeah. So that's why it's my number one.
No, it's very much in that first tier for me, as I noted earlier. I'm very excited for this as well. Anytime Leica has a new movie coming out, I am wholeheartedly there. Kubo and the Two Strings was awesome. That was in my top 20 of that year. And yeah, I did see that Travis Knight also has two movies. Masters of the Universe will probably be like Bumblebee in the sense that it'll reinvigorate that franchise. Whether people respond to it or not, it'll probably be one of the better movies of the summer just because he got behind the helm. Yeah, and that's great. He needs the money to make a Wildwood. And I love that for him. Good for him. Go get paid and also do your Leica movies.
And I hope this movie does well. You know, historically, Leica films have some of them have struggled a little bit, right? And these movies are obviously very time consuming and very costly. So I want to see this one do well. Like in a way, like some of the promos that I've seen, it's kind of giving me Wolfwalkers energy a little bit. Yeah. Which, hell yeah. Yeah. I'm here for that kind of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely love that. My number two. So I talked about how Coretta is my number one. I don't think we have to spend a lot of time here, but my number two is The Odyssey. It is Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's
he made arguably the best movie of the decade to this point in Oppenheimer. And what does he follow that up with? Oh, The Odyssey. You know, that epic fantasy narrative that has inspired pretty much every story that's come out since. Like everything circles back to the Odyssey in some way.
It's honestly kind of hilarious, right? I feel like we were having this conversation when Oppenheimer came out, how big and grand and successful that movie was. We thought to ourselves, how is Christopher Nolan going to top himself? He somehow found a way.
Found a way. Let's just tackle Homer's The Odyssey. Like, unbelievable that that's what he chose.
Yeah.
And then, you talk about this cast as well, which includes the likes of Matt Damon and a lot of the behind the scenes as far as Damon is concerned, that this could be his best performance, and honestly, it might not be close. That's a lot of the chatter at the current moment. We'll see. But Matt Damon, I think, is an interesting choice there. Yeah. But we also have Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, Himesh Patel, Mia Goth. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Elliot Page it has a small role. Who else? Corey Hawkins, Bill Irwin,
I don't know where to start.
Morton. Yeah. I mean, it could have just been any actor off the street, honestly. They could have just pulled anybody. Like, everybody's going to be in this movie, apparently. So yeah, huge cast. And it's Nolan doing The Odyssey. There's really nothing else to say.
Also, the first film, I think, to be shot entirely on IMAX 70 millimeter film cameras, or at least it's his first. It's Nolan's first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And of course, you got Ludwig Göransson coming back. Yeah, Hoyte van Hoytema shooting this movie. So yeah, this is going to be a huge film. and Nolan. There's just no one doing it like Nolan right now.
This movie has an estimated budget of $250 million.
Yeah, I saw that. Pretty wild.
I mean, it's Nolan. Of course, his movies tend to do well. They tend to make $1 billion, so it's a gamble for sure. I mentioned earlier that one of my honorable mention categories is the GOAT category, as there are many filmmakers, and we'll talk about them in honorable mentions, that are many filmmakers who sort of qualify as being among the greatest of all time are releasing films this year. And out of all of them, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is probably the one I'm most looking forward to, because it feels like the one that is actually trying to challenge his GOAT status in a way.
Yeah.
Like he's actually trying to push himself further. A lot of these others, and this is not a knock on these others, but a lot of these others are playing in sandboxes that they've played in before, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do new things with them, but Nolan has never played in this sandbox. This is a completely different sport. And that's why it's out of all of these filmmakers that are among the greatest of all time that are releasing movies in 2026, his is the one I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have it at my number 2. Maybe it would have been my number 1 if not for Coretta. Who's to say? But yeah, I mean, it's Nolan challenging himself and doing an epic that we all know. Even if you don't know Homer's Odyssey intimately, you've seen it before. There's been so many variations of this over the years. So many movies pay homage to it in one way or another. And for him to tackle this after Oppenheimer, a film that many of us claim to be one of the best, if not of this decade, maybe even of the 21st century so far.
It's like,
certainly. I think I can up that. I think I can up that one more time.
If someone were to say if someone were to say it's the best picture winner of the past 20 years, I don't think I would necessarily push back on that.
I wouldn't either. So yeah, that's why I have The Odyssey at number 2. For the sake of the exercise, as we always do you have a 6 through 10? Or do you just...
Yeah, I do. Okay. I do.
Let's just quickly do that, and we'll get to the other honorable mentions.
For sure. So my number 6, again, anytime Robert Eggers has a new film coming out, I usually reserve a spot for him, but I've done that so many times that I kind of wanted to talk about a few more wild cards here, but I'll give my number 6 slot to Werewolf from Robert Eggers. A director, once again, playing in a very similar sandbox that he's done before, so I don't know if we'll anticipate any surprises with this one, but I'm sure it'll be something that he's very comfortable with, and I can't wait to see how vicious that it is. My number 7 was going to be my GOAT category, and I actually had here both The Odyssey and Disclosure Day as sort of like a two-way tie for that particular category. Another one of my guys, actually many of my guys are making movies this year, and they actually couple my number 8 and number 9 respectively, but we're getting a new film from Brad Bird, apparently still working in the realm of animation, the movie called Ray Gun. Anytime he has a movie coming out, I'm very much looking forward to it, because he has directed some of the greatest animated movies ever made. One of them is probably my top 10 of all time. So I have to reserve a slot for him. And you know what? I said this earlier with Wildwood, JD. Which movie will I be most excited about just simply walking into the theater knowing I am going to see this particular movie, the anticipation of this particular movie? The actual answer is probably the new film from M. Night Shyamalan, Remain, because anytime he has a movie come out, I am so excited for it. It never ends up in my top 10 of the year, but he always delivers the most. He always delivers the most enjoyable theater experience, and his new film Remain with Jake Gyllenhaal, that is also apparently a story credit from one Nicholas Sparks. I will never get over that. I need to see what the hell this is all about.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So those are my number 8 and number 9 respectively. My number 10, I'll reserve my number 10 for another Where Have You Been? Actually, it's not really a Where Have You Been award, because this man has been all over the Twitter sphere, at least for a while. But Tony Gilroy has a new movie coming out. It's called Behemoth! And apparently deals with musicians, which is certainly my thing. The reason why I have this at number 10 is because after the success of Andor, I have to imagine this guy's just been given a blank check to make whatever the hell he wants. And when that happens, that happens, I get excited. It might be a failure, but at least he went out in a blaze of glory. And given that blank check kind of mentality, that's why I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll try to get through these quickly because we do share on at least one movie here. At number 6 for me is Joel Coen, Jack of Spades, and I almost had this at my number 5. I don't know if you know anything about this, Brendan.
I know it's apparently some gothic mystery in Scotland or something.
It is a gothic mystery film starring Josh O'Connor, Frances McDormand, Leslie Manville, and Damian Lewis. Are you absolutely kidding me? Like, that is unbelievable.
Another gothic mystery with Josh O'Connor. Is this another spinoff like of Wake Up Dead Man or something?
That's all I needed to hear. And then, of course, it's shot by Bruno Domino and Carter Burwell doing the score.
Yeah.
And Joel Coen behind the camera. I just, yes. My number 6, I almost had this at my number 5 as well. I mean, it might as well have been a 5B, but yeah, I'm very excited for that. Jane Schoenbrunn is back with a movie called Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. I'm not sure how to say that, but that is my number 7. What they did, again, going back to 2024.
Yeah.
I saw the TV Glow.
Good stuff.
Again, you could ask 100 people on the street about that film and you might get one person to respond. But that's a film that was in my top 10.
That's
a film that was in my top 10. I deeply loved it. I also had Schoenbrunn nominated for Best Director. I know
a lot of people did
that good.
And they were arguably deserving of it.
Yes. So I have that at my number 7 here. I also have Werewolf, Robert Eggers here at number 8. And number 9, again, going back to 2024, Ancient History is the name of the film from one Annie Baker, who directed this small little movie called Janet Planet. If I asked 100 people on the street, have they heard of Janet Planet? Crickets. Not a single person on planet Earth. In fact, if I did 100 people on film Twitter, half of them might say, I don't know what you're talking about.
For real.
You talk about an incredible film that just went way under the radar. But one of the best movies of that year, I think that was like 11/10B for me. That was a heartbreaker to leave out.
That was a good movie. Yeah.
Really, really good. She was also one of my nominees for Best Discovery of 2024. So like all these great movies that I love from that year, they're just so under the radar. But she has a new movie coming out this year, as I noted, called Ancient History. That is my number 9. Honestly, I don't know if I would have had this at number 10 until we got the trailer for it. And I don't know why, because Michael Sarnowski is quickly becoming someone that I am wholly intrigued by, intoxicated by.
Yeah.
Pig, I thought was one of the best films of 2021. A Quiet Place Day One, that's the kind of blockbuster I want to see more of. That was my winner for Best Surprise Movie of 2024. You talk about a movie that has those pulsating blockbuster thrills at times, but that is mostly, weirdly, a Sarnowski film in the sense that it's of course quiet, which is why he was perfect for that franchise, probably.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's a tender, quiet movie, and it is not at all interested in thrills. It's more interested in emotion and the humanity behind Lupita Nyong'o's character. I love that film. Huge surprise. And now he's back with The Death of Robin Hood, and my God, that trailer looks gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. The Death of Robin Hood is my number 10. I cannot like Sarnowski he's a name now, kind of like Robert Eggers, where he has a new film. Oh yeah, that's automatic. I'm there. Tickets sold. Yes,
in advance. Yeah. It's like, we don't need to worry about the Odyssey in advance. We'll go see this. Let's sell us this in advance.
Yeah. Sarnowski, The Death of Robin Hood, my number 10. All right. I know we have a lot of other films we want to get through.
Yeah, we have like 100 honorable mentions here.
I know. So as quickly as possible here, how do you want to, you just want to name off a bunch that
I'll just name off a bunch. I have them listed in alphabetical order. I'm not going to name all of them, but I'll name
alphabetical order. Good Lord.
Yeah. I'm not going to name them all. I'm just going to pick out a few of them that I think are ones that I'm more looking forward to than others, I'll simply say.
Okay.
I mean, obviously there are some big movies coming out this year, but we know we're going to see them. We know everyone's looking forward to the likes of Avengers Doomsday, but I have more concerns about that one than I do anything else. I'm surprised Dune Part 3 was not on your list.
Yeah, I'll talk about it here in a second. It's in that top tier for me.
Okay. As far as a few others that I have a lot of curiosity about, at the very least, The Bride from Maggie Gyllenhaal. Been looking forward to that one for quite a while. I didn't love the trailer for that one, but I'm still very curious about The Experiment. I'm very curious about this new sci-fi post-apocalyptic film from Ridley Scott called The Dog Stars. Yet again, one of our favorite filmmakers coming out to make another movie. Danny Boyle coming back with a movie called Ink, apparently about Robert Murdoch and based on the stage play by James Madsen, I believe his name is. So I'm looking forward to that. One of my boys, David Lowery, has a new film coming out with Mother Mary.
Yeah.
Normally, I always reserve a spot for him in my top 10. The trailer didn't really wow me, so I think that's partially why I didn't include it there. I'm not quite in love with the vibe that it's going for, but the film could certainly still win me over because of how much I love David Lowery, and this feels like he's going back to his, Green Knight roots, which is what I want to see. So looking forward to that. Jeremy Saulnier has another action horror thriller coming out called October that apparently takes place on Halloween night. That sounds like it's absolutely my vibe. There's a new film from James Gray called Paper Tiger that looks like it's going back to his early crime thriller roots, which I think sounds really interesting. Movies like Little Odessa, for instance. So I'm looking forward to that. And coming out very soon rather, I am weirdly excited for this new Sam Raimi film, Send Help. I'm actually really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I know. I have my theories about what I think's going on, but I could be way wrong. But that's the fascinating.
I need to hear what your theories are. I'm genuinely curious about that.
Okay.
Tell me offline.
All right. Yeah, we can certainly talk about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What else you got? Anything else?
That's a good question. I know a lot of these are ones. Yeah, a lot of these I know you're also going to probably highlight. So
I can highlight a bunch here.
Yeah, I'll throw it back over to you.
I at least want to name my tier one. These are the films that I have at the top of my list. Again, if we were continuing the ranking, these are like my 11 through 20, I guess you could say.
Okay, sure.
And this is in no order, but I also have Mother Mary from David Lowery, Dune Messiah from Denis Villeneuve. Kogonada has a new film called Z. I think it's pronounced. I have no idea. Yeah, but that feels like Kogonada getting back to his roots as well, which is why I have that in my tier one here. Pedro Almodovar, a new film called Bitter Christmas. Always there for Almodovar. James Gray, new film called Paper Tiger that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
This is where I would have the Bone Temple if I hadn't already seen the Bone Temple, but I'll just say that since my thoughts of that film were out there, for me, it's warranted to have it here in that tier one. Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. We've been looking forward to this for a few years now. It's finally coming out. Lee Chang-dong has a new film called Possible Love. I really loved Burning, so I'm curious for that one. Hope you mentioned earlier. Her Private Hell you mentioned earlier. Wildwood you mentioned earlier. And then the other one I have, the reason I have it on tier one here is the Pixar film Hoppers. I don't know how much excitement there is for me with this film, but there's a lot of eagerness for me to see that film succeed. I'm really hoping that film is a success so we get more original Pixar films, because if this is a flop, it might be the death of Pixar.
There's a lot riding on this movie, especially given that there are 2 Pixar movies coming out this year, and of course we want to see movies like Hopper succeed. We don't need Toy Story 5 to succeed.
Well, right, and that's the dichotomy. I think that's what's fascinating about 2026, right? Because you got Toy Story 5, which is the other end of the spectrum, and then you got an original film like Hoppers. And if Hoppers fails and Toy Story 5 goes on to make $1 billion again,
which
guess what we're going to see with Pixar? I mean, it's going to be really, really sad moving forward if Hoppers is a failure. So that's why I have it on tier one. I'm excited for that film because I need it to do well.
That's a good point. Very good point.
And then just to list off a bunch of others here, I don't know how much excitement there is for the material, but Greta Gerwig has a film coming out this year, and she leads my tier 2. Leads that tier 2. Still looking forward to it just because it's Greta Gerwig.
Narnia,
even
baby.
if it's Narnia. Similarly, Project Hail Mary, I don't know what to make of the trailer. It looks fun, but it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and they always do really good work. So I'm excited for that one. Cornel Munruso, my boy, the director of White God, he has a new film called At the Sea, starring Amy Adams. Maybe this is finally how we get Amy Adams an Oscar.
Oh, I hope it doesn't become a night bitch situation.
Yeah. I hope not either. So I'm excited for that. Danny Boyle, you mentioned. Tom Ford is back for the first time in some time. I don't know if he's on your list as far as...
Where the hell have you been?
Where the hell have you been? Yes. He has a new film called Cry to Heaven. Lance Oppenheim has a new film called Primetime, which is interesting. I don't know how many people out there listening know the name Lance Oppenheim, but he is an incredible documentarian, and he's made some of the best documentaries of the last few years.
Yeah,
but this
Some
is
Kind of Heaven,
feature
right?
film. Yes, exactly. But his new film Primetime is a feature film, so I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, apparently where Robert Pattinson is playing apparently some rendition of Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator or something.
Yes. Yeah, so going off of the documentary
Wild.
Predators last year, ironically. Yeah. Should be fun. Greg Quidar has a new film called Saturn Return.
The Quidar Bentley
So
team is coming
they're
back.
back once again. Absolutely. Asghar Farhadi has a new film called Parallel Tales. There's a movie called The Unknown. It's from director Arthur Harari. And while I don't know anything about the filmmaker, it is pre-purchased by Neon. All I need to know, the neon lights go off these days whenever you see that Neon has pre-purchased something. So they know something that I don't. How about David Robert Mitchell? New film called Flowervale Street. That one should be interesting. What do you make about David Fincher?
I was just going to ask. I mean, it's a
But
weird
it's Fincher,
combination.
though. Like,
On the Fincher of it is what gets me more excited than the material. And from what I understand, I haven't read the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from Quentin Tarantino, but I understand that a lot of people seem to like a lot of the extra stuff that he threw in there about Cliff Booth, which apparently this movie is going to primarily adapt. So I'm more interested in what Fincher will do with Tarantino's material than anything else.
yes. And that's why it's kind of like a Narnia situation for me. It's less the material. It's just the fact that Fincher's back.
More of a
Fincher
question mark.
if anyone can make that work, it's Fincher.
For sure.
Which is why I'm curious. I also have M. Night in this tier as well for the same reasons you mentioned earlier. Andrew Haig has a new movie called The Long Winter. Very excited for that one. Radu Jude has 2 films out this year. Dracula, which comes out very soon, and Diary of a Chambermaid. Looking forward to both of those. Mike Lee has a new film out this year. Takashi Yamazaki, Godzilla Minus Zero.
I was just going to say, how do we not go this whole conversation and not mention Godzilla Minus Zero?
Yeah, looking
almost made my top 10, honestly.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. I have in this tier 2, I have Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping, just because that the last Hunger Games kind of surprised me. It was better than I thought it was going to be. So I have that one kind of in this tier 2. And then similarly, just because I love that first one, I don't know what to expect from The Devil Wears Prada 2, but we're getting a sequel.
Yeah,
So,
whatever.
I have that here as
Legacy sequels galore. Pretty soon
I know.
we'll be getting How to Lose a Guy in 20 Days.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I did like that first one quite a bit. So I have that in that tier 2. And then I guess to kind of round out that tier 2, I have 2 more here. And that is Luca Guadagnino. Even though I was a little disappointed with his film last year, but it's Guadagnino, so that is enough for me to be excited. It's called Artificial, and then Tony Gilroy, as you mentioned, Behemoth. And then I guess just a few more. You got Kyle Edward Ball is back. Send Help. This is where I got the Send Help. Inarritu and Tom Cruise collaborating with Digger.
Oh, yeah. I hated that trailer, but this still seems like a very fascinating pairing.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the trailer. I think I don't think I've seen it.
It's a nothing burger of a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see Cruise outside of Mission Impossible. So
I mean, he's
we'll see.
he's doing stunts in the trailer. So
Is he
he's
really? Oh god.
he's dancing on top of
maybe I
what.
should just steer away from the trailer then.
I mean, from what I recall, he's dancing on what looks like the ledge of like a boardwalk railing or something like that. So
Because of course.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not Mission Impossible. Let's just put it that.
not quite that.
Okay,
no.
it's not Mission Impossible.
Mhm.
J.J. Abrams is back for the first time in a while.
We're
And
curious about that.
You could argue that this is his first film since The Force Awakens.
Oh, it absolutely is. He did not direct The Rise of Skywalker.
No,
His
he
name's
really
on it.
didn't.
He's a scapegoat to represent what
He
went
was in a scapegoat. That was a Lucasfilm tragedy all the way through.
Yeah.
And so I think it fits that mold of what you had on your list, like where have you been kind of thing.
kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, I think he fits there. What else do we have here?
Oh, I want to bring up one, and I forgot to mention this one earlier. The new film from the Zellner brothers, Alpha Gang, which I don't know how much you know about this one. Apparently, it's about
Yeah, I have it on my list here. Yeah.
it's about a group of aliens that try to invade Earth by posing as a biker gang in the 1950s.
Sounds awesome.
The
Yeah.
reason why I want to highlight it here is because I think this might win the award for the best cast of an upcoming film, because this includes the likes of Dave Bautista, Cate Blanchett, Chris Pine, Lea Seydoux, Riley Keough, Lily Rose Depp, Kelvin Harrison Jr., and Bai June.
Okay.
That's a hell of a cast.
That is a hell of a cast, and that sounds quite fascinating. And look, their last movie was out there, maybe pun intended, and I'm excited to see what they do with this one. It sounds fascinating. Yes. I also want to note, so Jonah Hill is back. He actually has 2 films coming out this year. One of them is called Cut Off, and the cinematographer is Harmony Korine, which
That's
I just
interesting.
find fascinating.
That's interesting.
Yeah, fine, fascinating. I also want to note Chasing Summer from Josephine Decker of Madeline fame, which in terms of InSession
legendary
Film
movie.
lore, like incredible. Incredible. What else can we mention here?
Good question.
What
haven't we
Werner Herzog has a new documentary coming out. Bucking Fastard is the name of it, I believe.
Okay.
Ira Sachs has a new movie.
John Carney's Power Ballad, does that come out this year?
I don't know. I don't have that on my list, but that could be. I might have missed it. I could have overlooked that.
That could be one of those that might end up getting pushed to 2027. Same can maybe be said about Wild Horse 9, the new Martin McDonagh film. There are some here, there are some here we haven't even really talked much about that I know people are looking forward to. We don't have to spend time talking about Avengers
we don't.
Doomsday or Spider-Man Brand New Day.
No, I wasn't going to get into too many of the big, because we all know the big movies that are coming out, the Spider-Mans and the Avengers, Jumanji 3, Supergirl. Yeah, I mean, that's all coming out.
Yeah.
Moana, there's the live action Moana, laugh out loud.
Oh, that's this year? Oh, crap.
Yeah, that's this year. That's
we
why I
skip
wanted
that
to
one?
focus on these other movies that I think will be more interesting. Like we're getting a movie called Here Comes the Flood, starring Denzel Washington and Robert Pattinson. Like that's a fascinating combo.
That's a very good combo. Absolutely.
We're getting a movie called The Drama, starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. Also fascinating little combo. So yeah, we're getting some good stuff.
There's a lot to look forward to.
Another one of your Where Have You Been? I don't know if you have this on your list, but Stephen Cohn has a new movie called System of Colors, and the last film of his was Princess Sid. If you remember that movie,
I
like
do remember that movie.
2017.
Yeah.
Been a while. Been almost a decade.
Oh, I'm blank. What was the name of the actress in that movie?
It was very. I remember the central performance was amazing, and I'm trying to remember.
Is it Jesse Pinnock? Yeah, it's Jesse Pinnock.
Jesse Pinnock. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite
Terrific
the performance.
performance.
Incredible. Yeah. So I wanted to note that because I noticed that as well. I was like, oh, this is the first thing he's done, at least in terms of film, in a while. So, yeah. And I have a few others here, but I think we can end there. I mean, we've talked about it.
I think that covers it, man. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yep. All right. If you agree or disagree with anything we had to say here, again, forgive us. I know we went long here, but just leave a comment below. Or you can tweet us at InSession Film or find us on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place, but that'll do it for this week's show. Again, be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned. For those watching on YouTube, or even if you're listening to this, be sure to join us this Friday on YouTube. I believe on our channel, the link is already there. So you can click the alert and be ready. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go live talking about the Oscars. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Brendan, any other final thoughts?
We're going to be busy.
Good.
We're going to be busy. 2026.
Year, hopefully.
Yeah. We thought the busyness would end by wrapping up 2025. And then Hollywood looked at us and went, nope.
Nope. Absolutely. All right. Well, with all that said, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the InSession Film Podcast.